heart of the American Midwest. A warm and sultry Saturday night. No threat of rain here at Indianapolis Raceway Park. Listen closely and you can almost hear the corn grow until they fire up those engines. And then the only sound you'll hear is Saturday Night Thunder. Tonight, we'll take you to Portland International Raceway in Oregon. Full-bodied fender banging with IMSA's GTO and GTU divisions are the featured attraction. Paul Tracy will share a spotlight that shines on young talent tonight. He'll carry the American Racing Series battle to the streets of Toronto. And here in Indy, the name on every tongue is Jeff Gordon. Can he win his 7th USAC feature? Where's he going next year? The racetrack is open. Welcome to Saturday Night Thunder. Hello, everyone. I'm Dave Despain, and my regular beat here on ESPN is Motor Week Illustrated. And so what, you ask, am I doing at Indianapolis Raceway Park? Well, the answer is last live USAC race of the year. I conned him into letting me come out here not only to enjoy the action, but also to watch Jeff Gordon in action and to find out a little bit more about his plans for the future. We're also going to see the GTO cars tonight, of course, in the GTU battle. Take you up to Toronto for the ARS cars. But the USAC feature here will be the main event of the evening, and that's my cue to hand it off to the guys who really know about this business. We've got a great rivalry, a rematch, if you will, here tonight involving our young friend, Mr. Gordon. And to find out more about that, let's go to the guys who will call the action, Gary Lee and Larry Rice, to tell us all about it.
Thanks, Dave. Hi, everybody. As we prepare for our last live telecast from Indianapolis Raceway Park this season, it all may end as it began back in April at Ascot Park with a shootout between Jeff Gordon and P.J. Jones.
In California, we were in P.J. Jones's backyard. Jeff Gordon went out there, won quite handily. Now we've come back to the Midwest in Jeff Gordon's backyard, and P.J. Jones is going to come back and try to do the same to him.
And Jeff may have a leg up. He has a new track record in qualifying. Another new face in the midgets this evening, not new to ESPN, Eric Gordon.
Eric Gordon ran his very first midget race Wednesday night at Kokomo, Indiana. He ran very well, but he had trouble settling in. He felt the cars were very twitchy. They moved around a lot, and he didn't feel real comfortable. But if he gets to feeling better here tonight, he could be a factor.
And he will run as a teammate to P.J. Jones. 41 cars have qualified. We are ready for racing. Here's the lineup for heat race number 1. 10 cars for 8 laps in the front row. Rick DeLorto and Norm Young. In row number 2, Dean Erfurth and Doug Coletta. In the third row on the inside, Andy Michner, and outside Steve Inlow. And row number 4, Bev Griffiths alongside Tice Carlson. And row 5, Jim Keeker. We saw him win last season here on ESPN. And Jeff Gordon with the new track record. Once again, 8 laps, the inverted start. Larry Rice, the fastest on the rear. The first 4 will transfer to the 30-lap main event, and there is that 1-lap track record, 21.194. I think it was interesting that the car owner, Raleigh Helming, said before the season began, I think we'll have to run 21 seconds flat at Raceway Park. He was very close.
He was very, very close, and I'll tell you, they really have picked up a lot this year. These Pontiacs and Gerties and Cosworths and all these things have really come forth with a lot more horsepower this year, and it's making the speeds faster, and everybody's having to work harder to keep up.
Now DeLorto will set the pace from the inside front row starting position. Norm Young will start alongside. Now once again, 8 laps. This is our first of 4 heat races here this evening from the .68-mile oval, bank 13 degrees in Indianapolis Raceway Park. There is the green flag, a drag race down to the first turn, and look at that nice jump by Young. A problem apparently on the part of DeLorto from the inside, and Norm Young has the lead.
Yes, he stopped right down the bottom. But here comes Jeff Gordon. He's up to the middle of the pack. We saw last week he moved quickly through the pack, very quickly, and he's already come up to halfway through the pack here in the first lap of this race.
7th position already. He will need a 4th place finish to transfer on into the feature, but he will not settle for 4th place. He wants the number 1 position.
Well, he doesn't ever settle for 4th place or 5th place or anything but first. That's the way he's always been brought up. That's the way he's always raced, and you're never going to change him, and that's why so many people are looking at him. Look at this. He just goes around 4 cars in one shot.
The Diet Pepsi Beast, powered by a Pontiac, owned by Raleigh Helmling out of Vincennes, Indiana. He has set a fast time or a track record every time he's qualified this car this season. And look who's leading now.
Okay, this is Doug Coletta right there in front. He's pulled away quite a bit. Everybody's still trying for second.
Now Gordon has the 2nd position right now, and he will set sail for Coletta. And he closes down. Look how rapidly he closes that gap between first and second. As he comes off the second corner, heads down the backstretch, and there's no doubt who has the fastest set of wheels out there right now. That is that George Tucker prepared Pontiac of Jeff Gordon. He set quick time, totally decimated the field 1 week ago in the Belleville Nationals on dirt, no less. He's won both on dirt and pavement with this beast chassis, and now he's out in front.
Well, I tell you what, it didn't take him long. 4 laps, he's out in front and just going away again. He's really got that thing dialed in. I mean, it's just really superior. There's only about 3 or 4 cars here in the last couple of weeks that we've seen that could keep up with him, and obviously there's no one in this heat race that's quite as fast as he is.
Well, this youngster was certainly bred to be a race driver. He turned 19 last Saturday, began racing quarter midgets at the age of 5, was racing sprint cars when he was 13. As we've talked before, he has as much experience right now as, say, a kid 26, 27 years old.
That's exactly right. He's really got a lot of experience. He uses it well. He uses his head. He's very smooth, and you just can't say enough. We've talked about him, but you just can't keep from talking about him as smooth as he is. Some of the guys here in the back here, that 11 car, just about got in the fence there just a while ago. I don't know whether he's had a problem or not.
Well, Bev Griffiths in that black number 15. 7 car is Dean Erfurth.
Bev Griffiths is doing a real good job, too. She doesn't get a lot of credit, but she has done real well.
Well, there's the white flag. 1 lap to go for Jeff Gordon out of Pittsboro, Indiana, just west of where we are this evening at Indianapolis Raceway Park. As we follow him off the second corner, off the 13-degree banking, down the back straightaway, 2 corners to negotiate, and he will pick up the heat race victory.
You would never guess that these cars are very, very twitchy the way he runs around there as smoothly as that, would you?
He has a new safety insert in this seat, which I want to amplify on a little later in the program. That's a safety device should there be an injury in a racing accident. Well, the second place battle went to
Doug Kalita, I believe
Kalita in the black number 22 car. This is a very, very fast racetrack in any kind of a race car. As we take a look at the winner, it's vitally important to keep the momentum up. This truly is a momentum racetrack.
It certainly is. You have to go fast. You got to enter the corner fast. You got to get off of the corner fast. All the RPMs off the corner just multiply all the way down the straightaway. So you have to do both of those things well in order to be a winner.
Once again, the top 4 automatically transfer. Those that finish 5th on down to the balance of the field will have a chance to go through our semi, but Jeff Gordon wins it. Kalita was 2nd. Then it was Keeker in 3rd. Tice Carlson finishes 4th. Those 4 will transfer. Steve Inlow will have to go to the semi. And there's a good look at the Diet Pepsi beast of
That's Gordon. The first time I've seen him sitting in victory lane without his fist in the air, shaking it. You know that?
Where's that youthful exuberance? Oh, there it is right there, and a great crowd on hand. We had thought that we would have some rain today, but I tell you what, we have a great crowd this evening. Mother Nature is cooperating. Earlier today on ESPN, you saw a Busch Grand National race that was taped just 1 week ago here, and we set a record crowd for that one.
Yes, that was a great race. I was out here talking to some of the guys before that, and I'll tell you some of the things they had to say a little later.
Well, let's talk about the exuberance right now in victory lane. Let's go to Marty Reed.
Well, thanks, Gary. You know, 8 times this year, this man has qualified on the pole. You've won 6 out of the 7. You just blistered the field. What else is next?
Well, you know, like I said before, this car is unbelievably fast. We got every combination right. And, you know, it shows when it's on the racetrack, and I tell you, it helps me out more than anything.
The record you set tonight in qualifying, Raleigh told me before the race that that was one of the goals you guys set. You wanted a car fast enough to take the track record back.
Well, you know, we're trying out a new motor that we ran at Belleville, and the thing worked superb at Belleville. And I knew we could do the track record. I just know we had to get the right lap, you know, and we got it.
Gary Lee mentioned the safety seat, and if we can get the guys real quick, we'll show this. Just a new design. This is a complete unit that comes out. If there is ever a problem with the driver, they literally just unsnap it and would strap your head in here and just lift you totally out of the car. Does it change anything about the way you feel in the ride? Obviously not, because you're still out there driving up in front.
No, I think it's very important to have something like this. You know, I felt just fine out there. I mean, you know, it felt just like it always does. The seat's not comfortable in a race car anyways. But I thought everything worked great. I'd like to thank my sponsors, though, Valvoline, Diet Pepsi, Hoosier Tires, Hardee's. They're helping us out a lot, and thank you for getting us on this television here. ESPN's doing a great job of the broadcast.
Well, you're doing a great job of winning races, and we'll see you in the main event. Let's go back upstairs. Dave Despain.
Kid's going to make a great TV star and a great racing star. We're at Indianapolis Raceway Park, where Gordon has led 5 men into the feature. That's just a preview of the action that's coming up later. We'll be back with more.
We are back live at Indianapolis Raceway Park for the 4th of our 4 heat races. And starting from the front row, Dave Stoltz alongside Rick Harrell. In the second row, we'll have defending national champion Russ Gamester alongside Jim Mahoney. In row 3, on the inside, Roy Carruthers in number 5. Number 6 is Don Jones. In the 4th row, on the inside, Brett Poole and P.J. Jones with the camera on top of the cage in car 21. And Stan Fox will round out the field in car number 9. And now we look over the cage, over the helmet of P.J. Jones, the CarQuest cage cam as it goes down the backstretch here at Indianapolis Raceway Park. Larry Rice, want to correct one thing. We're using the format for a 24-car starting field. We said earlier the first 4 transfer. Actually, in the heat race, the first 5 will transfer. We'll take 4 from the semi. But once again, these heat races are started in the inverted fashion. The fastest in the rear makes it more of a challenge.
It sure makes it a lot tougher when you've got to come from the back. There's no doubt about that. Russ Gamester is out of this race, so the guys in the back are going to move up 1 spot. I don't know what his problem was, but he will not start. So Stan Fox and P.J. Jones gained a spot already, and we'll see if they can get through the pack as quickly as some of these other guys have in starting in the back of the race.
Well, keep in mind, we talk about Russ not being able to run. He is the defending national USAC Midget champion. He is now leading the point standings, trying to become the first driver to win back-to-back titles since Sleepy Tripp did it back in 75 and 76. He was second at Kokomo, Indiana on Wednesday evening in a race that you finished 8th in. Now, in that race, we did not have Jeff Gordon. Let's go to the pit area. Marty, what's the latest on Russ?
Russ Gamester, I know it's been a thrash night for you. What's wrong?
Well, you know, we're going to try to get the Terre Haute First National Bank race car in the show. We just got we have fuel pump problems and oil pump problems. The motor's vibrating real bad. It's vibrating everything off.
Well, we've got a race going on. We'll see you in the last chance race.
Yeah, we'll get First National Bank in the last chance race, and we'll come up through the pack.
Well, of course, that does not sound good for Russ Gamester, but it looks good right now for Roy Carruthers as he sets sail down the backstretch in that bright yellow number 5. He's out in front, but watch P.J. from the near back of the pack, P.J. Jones. And we look over his head as he comes off the corner down past a great crowd here at Raceway Park, headed into 13-degree banking.
That's Stan Fox right in front of him, and he's going to give it everything he's got. Brett Poole in second spot. All 4 of these guys are running real fast. These 2 guys started in the last row, Stan Fox and P.J. Jones, but Roy Carruthers and Brett Poole are holding them off. They're doing a very good job right now, running fast.
Well, P.J. Jones takes a look to the inside, tries to maintain the momentum in a lower groove, gets very sideways coming off the corner, and that will heat up your right rear in a hurry.
Yeah, we had some problems with tires last week, Gary. Some of the guys in the feature fell out. Here goes Brett Poole. He's making a try at him. The kid's had a couple of real tough tumbles in Salem, Indiana here this summer. He's running real fast for all the trouble he's had this year and all the crashes he's been in.
Look at Jones stick his nose in there, and he said, "Here I am." Fox looked over and gave him some room.
I'll tell you what, P.J. Jones, you're not going to intimidate him. He's going to do the intimidating if there's anything to be done. He's run a lot of pavement. He's run the ARS cars. This is nothing new to him to run the pavement race cars, and he's going to give it everything he's got, I'll tell you that.
Brett Poole, who is leading right now, grew up. His father owned a number 9 car for many years, and a number of very, very fine drivers spent some time in the cockpit of that car.
Pancho Carter was one of them. There have been a lot of other guys. I drove that car. Dana Carter drove it. There's been a lot of guys that drove that car and drove it very well. Brett wanted to start, and he has started, and it looks like he's doing a very good job at this point in this race.
Well, you see, he finished 6th. Speaking of P.J. Jones, he finished 6th at Kokomo, Indiana on a quarter-mile flat dirt track last Wednesday, but he had to go to the back of the pack after spinning out early, and boy, he had a real bonsai run from back there.
Well, as we said, you're not going to do any intimidating on him. He's going to be the one that does that, and he did it the other night, starting from the back, and he's going to give Brett Poole a real tussle. Brett's going to have to use all of his everything he's learned in the last couple of years. He's not got the experience that PJ's got. PJ's going to stick a wheel up there and try to intimidate him. He doesn't get it done right there. That's what he was really trying to do. He came in there hard. He tried to get Brett Poole to move over, which he didn't do.
Smoked the right rear tire. Now, a few more times like this, they're using a softer compound for this shorter heat race. That could be devastating.
Yes, it can be. They do use a softer compound in the heat race. They use one tire to qualify, one tire for the heat, and another. Oh, there he goes. That time he just had enough speed. He went right on past him going into the corner. So he really has that thing hooked up. He's running fast. He might do exactly what we said come feature time.
Well, there is the white flag. 1 lap to go. Remember, the first 5 will transfer, and P.J. Jones is out in front. The reason he's here in the Midwest, he ran the Belleville Nationals last weekend, then came into Indiana this week, ran Kokomo Wednesday. He's here at Raceway tonight. Brett Poole rides in second position. Third is Stan Fox, the Wisconsin driver. And there is the checkered flag.
All 3 of them right under blanket. They all ran very good race that time. I'll tell you, they ran fast. They ran straight. PJ was out of shape a little bit. He's not going to want to do that a lot in the feature, or he's going to have a tire problem, because these tires just won't stand that sideways running like he was doing right there.
So P.J. Jones from the back of the pack with the cage cam. He takes the victory over a young Brett Poole, who will certainly be a seasoned veteran in the years to come and be a name that we'll probably call many times in the seasons to come. Stan Fox, the veteran from Janesville, Wisconsin, finishes 3rd. So there's a good look at the American Racing Wheels entry. The driver from Torrance, California, the son of the 1963 Indy 500 victor. Parnelli Jones, and PJ says he is headed for the Speedway. He hopes to be there perhaps next year. He wins it. Those that transfer include Brett Poole, Stan Fox, Roy Carruthers, and Don Jones. But those that didn't transfer will go through our semi, and we'll have that one coming up live from Indianapolis Raceway Park.
We're back live, Indianapolis Raceway Park in the heart of the Midwest on a Saturday night. Great place for USAC Midget action, and things are all set for a P.J. Jones and Jeff Gordon showdown. Here come main event. Quick highlights from the middle 2 heat races. Great run tonight for Mike Fedorchak. In the second heat, he came from dead last. And you talk about romping and stomping. Of course, the inverted start, he had a good qualifying time, had to pick his spot, pick his time, make his moves. And there's the shot down the backstretch as he scrambles down to the inside. Fedorchak, a man who is very tired of hearing the name Jeff Gordon in midget racing this year. He would love to step up tonight and make that a 3-man battle at the head. He went on to win it. Let's take a look at the results here from heat race number 2 as Fedorchak wins it from the back over Dick Pohl, Billy Hughes, Richard Meyer, and Ted Hines. They're all bound for the feature here this evening. We'll have the Heat 3 results here as well, I believe, to round out the feature lineup. There's old Mel Kenyon, Mike Stryker in there, Eric Gordon. A lot of Gordons on the show tonight. We've already seen Robbie off in the dirt out west, Terry Wenty, and Jim Beckley around. Saturday Night Thunder is being brought to you by Budweiser. Beechwood Age for that clean, crisp taste. This Bud's for you. By Levi's 505 and 506 jeans. And by Quaker State, the Big Q is one tough motor oil. We've got the last chance qualifier up and coming with the national point leader trying to get in the field. Let's go to Gary Lee.
In row 1, starting straight up the fastest in front for this one, Don Schilling starts alongside Mike Mason. In the second row, on the inside, the young lady Bev Griffiths, outside Barry Reed. Row 3, we have Andy Michner and Jim Mahoney. In the fourth row, Mark Gerke out of Panama City, Florida, and John Myers. In row 5, Dean Erfurth and Norm Young. In the sixth row, Russ Gamester wearing number 1, defending national champion. Leading the points, David Thompson outside. Row 7, Susan Spencer and Rich DeLorto. In the 8th row, Dave Stoltz and Jim Hettinger. In the point standings, Russ Gamester now 37 points out in front of Gordon. However, Gordon has collected 10 points by virtue of his heat race victory and fast time. He's now 27 points behind, and a victory by Gordon, if Gamester has some more mechanical woes, could put young Jeff on top in the points. Well, here's the green flag. We have 15 laps of the semi, or the last chance race, if you prefer that name. In fact, this is the last chance, because if they don't finish in the top 4 here, load them up and take them home.
It's going to be very interesting to see if Russ Gamester can, after all the problems he's had, come up through there. Don Schilling has jumped off to a good start. He's going to be real tough in this race because he started right up front. He's a very good pavement driver, so it's going to be tough to get around him. The big thing is going to see if Russ Gamester can come up and make the feature.
Running in second place is Bev Griffiths in that new block number 15, but she is being challenged by the farmer from the Buckeye State of Ohio, Mike Mason, who had some trouble in his heat race. He rides in third. We go back to the front of the pack. Don Schilling Gamester, with the mechanical woes that we've talked about earlier, still not running up to speed.
Yeah, it looks like he's having trouble. He just, I don't know what was wrong with him earlier, but whatever was the problem, they don't seem to have it fixed. He just got passed there by
Norm Young went by on the low side. Gamester with that number 1. And you know, a lot of drivers say that a number 1 adds a lot of weight to both the nose and the tail of a race car. Some drivers prefer not to even use number 1 after winning the titles.
I've seen an awful lot of guys that wouldn't put that number on their race car. Bad luck, you call it whatever you want, but there's a lot of guys that don't want anything to do with that number. It hasn't been bad for him yet, but it seems like tonight it's not going to do him much good.
Well, he tried the low side again of Young, did some sliding, couldn't stick, couldn't keep the momentum up. And right now he looks at the inside again. As we go back to the front of the pack, Don Schilling continues to lead. He knows the fast way around this racetrack.
Yes,
look at the size of the lead already. In 4 laps, look at that half straightaway advantage over Bev Griffiths. But Bev now has opened up a margin over Mike Mason.
I'll tell you what, she's pretty impressive. She really impressed me in Winchester, Indiana. She did a very, very good job.
There once again, Gamester still working on Norm Young and not having any luck whatsoever.
Yeah, he's still running back there. He's still working on him, but I can't tell whether the engine's not running, the car's not handling, whatever it is. He's just having all kinds of problems here tonight, and they don't seem to be getting any better.
Well, here's a guy that's having no problems whatsoever. Don Schilling, although he had to go through the semi, certainly has that well in hand right now as he continues to open up that gap over second place. And there is the young lady from here in the Indianapolis area, Bev Griffiths. A new ride for her, the best equipment she's had. She's been racing for her dad for a number of years. This is a brand new race car, though.
Yeah, she's done a very good job in it. Like I said, she's really impressed me at Winchester. She's impressed me here tonight. She's running the heck out of the race car, and I'll tell you, it's not easy.
Well, here is your leader right here. We understand a black flag may be displayed for Gamester. And there is the black flag. Will they give it to him this next time by? Well, Gamester obviously will have to watch this feature as a spectator, and he may see that point lead he had dwindle down to nothing, because right now he has 27 points over Gordon, but Gordon with a victory this evening would collect an additional 30 points, would lead by 3. So there is a look at Gamester.
Yeah, he doesn't seem to be heeding that black flag very well. Maybe he doesn't know it's for him, and maybe he's just so determined to make this race that he's going to go ahead and run until he's absolutely sure it is for him. But it is for him, and I think you'll be seeing him pull in.
He saw it that time. He was in a pack of 3 or 4 other cars the last couple of circuits. Mike Mason, a problem with car number 7. And that is not a very good spot to be in as he works off the high side of turn 4, coming right up in the groove.
Yeah, something happened. He was afraid to pull down. Of course, you can't see behind yourself, Gary. When you're in that race car, you cannot look behind. Those full-face helmets prohibit you from seeing behind you and very far to the side of you. So he was just afraid. The field was strung out. He was afraid to pull down across the racetrack. So he just stayed high, figuring that that way would be the least dangerous.
Well, as we have a yellow flag, we take a look at Mike Mason as he is waiting in the cockpit of that number 7 car, waiting for someone to come along and help him off the racetrack. We're going to come back once we go racing from Indianapolis Raceway Park. Back at Indianapolis Raceway Park after 8 of 15 laps, the top 5, Don Schilling, Bev Griffiths, Mike Mason, Andy Michener, and Jim Hettinger. Let's go down the pit area and check on the progress of the number 1 car. Here's Marty.
Well, the progress is halted for this night for Russ Gamester. A disappointing night. Bolts literally backing out of the motor. You had all kinds of problems. What brought you in finally?
Well, we started leaking a little bit of oil on the right rear, so my crew just brung me in. I'll tell you, it's a shame that we couldn't get the Terre Haute First National Bank out in front. I'd just like to thank everybody and the crew, my family. You know, we'll be back. You know, it's just one of them nights where, you know, nothing can go right, and we were trying, and it was no sense to run the car and get it in the wall.
Guys, the key point about this is that if Jeff Gordon wins tonight, Russ Gamester will be in second place in the points.
Well, we are racing once again as we misidentified that one number 7 car. We actually have 2 Beast chassis, white and red number 7s. Now, Mike Mason is running 1, but the other was Dean Erfurth, and apparently that car jumped out of gear because he hasn't restarted at the back of the pack now.
Yeah, they restarted him, and he's running back up there past a couple cars already, as a matter of fact. But they are hard to tell apart. Schilling is running very good. He took right off again. Bev Griffiths took right off again, too. Those 2 are running away from the rest of the pack. There you see Mike Mason. He's being pressured right now quite heavily.
Well,
that's Jim Hettinger. Jim Hettinger started last, Gary. He started 18th in this race. He's just come up and taken 3rd.
Well, he's certainly keeping his momentum going, isn't he?
Well, I'll tell you what, I don't know. I don't think we've even seen him on the racetrack tonight. All of a sudden, he starts last and comes up to third place. He's
a
really
Volkswagen power plant.
Well, I tell you, they must have some horsepower built into that one, or they've got it working awful good, because he is really coming up through the pack.
Well, Mike Mason was not working so well that time, and that is the Mike Mason that we started to misidentify earlier, but that is Mike, the farmer from the state of Ohio, in the brand new Beast chassis. He's only had that for a couple of weeks, but certainly likes that chassis. And right now we take only the top 4 and transfer those to the main event.
Yes.
And Mason right now is running in 4th position. That is the battle for the 4th and final transfer position.
That's Andy Mitchner that's right behind him. Again, we talked about him being from the group last year that sponsored the Speedway car. Here's the race for second place. I tell you what, Hettinger is really looking good. He has that thing really working. I don't know where he's been all night, but he wasn't going that fast earlier, I'll tell you. I know.
He qualified well. In fact, he was the 3rd fastest qualifier, so he will get his starting position back and start up in front in the feature. This may be a guy to watch.
Well, I tell you, he really looks good in this race. He's running very, very smooth. He goes to any place on the racetrack. He's not smoking the tires. That was a beautiful pass. Just right to the top, right to the bottom. Never smoked the tires. Smooth as can be. Very, very good. Good patience. Good, smart race car driver.
These Volkswagens are not supposed to have that kind of horsepower.
Well, I don't think it's all horsepower. In this case, it's just the fact that he's got the thing working very well. He's driving it extremely well. Those 2 factors can make up for a lot of horsepower at this racetrack.
Don Schilling has the white flag. He has now less than a lap, about a half lap now to go. And there we look at 2nd and 3rd positions.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see if Hettinger's this strong in the feature race, coming out of the semi like this, running this strong, going in against the real tough guys in the feature. It'll be very interesting to see how tough he goes there.
Checkered flag as Don Schilling wins it. Hettinger runs in 2nd position, 3rd, Bev Griffiths, and 4th position will go to Mike Mason in. Who's Mike Mason in the white 7 car? But there's a look at Don Schilling. Hettinger finishes 2nd, and they've banged wheels a few times in midget competition.
Yes, they have. They've raced against each other quite a while. Of course, Don Schilling built this car really specifically for this kind of a racetrack in this series. He came out here last year, ran real well. They changed the rules a little bit. He went home, did his homework, and rebuilt this car, and it looks like he's done his homework very well, because it's really running fast.
We have a great crowd on hand here. It's a beautiful night for motorsports here at Indianapolis Raceway Park. The first 4 transferred to the main event. They were Don Schilling, Jim Hettinger, Bev Griffiths, and Mike Mason. So we have 24 cars ready to start a 30-lap main event. We're coming back. Stay with us.
We're live at Indianapolis Raceway Park. All the weekend's racing highlights, of course, are yours on Motor Week Illustrated. I hope you'll join me 7:30 Eastern Time on Monday night. Saturday night, of course, Speed Week has all the action of the coming weekend also at 7:30, and they'll have a midnight show as well. We are going to have a bang-up feature here tonight. It's going to be spectacular. A lot of these guys have been busy, along with the much-traveled Gary Lee. We saw him in Toronto. He's here tonight. This afternoon, he was over at the fairgrounds with a lot of these guys for the Hot 100. And he even brought the highlights tonight.
Action in the first 15-lap qualifying heat race. Perry Farrell will make contact with the outside wall in turn 1. Do a lazy barrel roll. He was uninjured. It was a last lap pass that got the lead for Larry Rice, and Rice takes the victory in the first qualifier. In the first lap of the 100-lap main event, coming through the 4th turn, Chuck Gurney heads for the outside wall, makes hard contact. He collects Jack Hewitt. Also involved were Dave Burns, Larry Rice, Bob Ciccone. Only Hewitt would be able to continue. Now, later in the race, lap 21, Jack Hewitt has a brake rotor sliced through the fuel cell. The car is on fire. Jack Hewitt is on fire. He bails out. The emergency crew is there with a fire bottle. He is shot. The crew then turns its attention toward the car, but wait a minute, I'm still on fire. He suffered only some very, very minor superficial burns. Now, after leading virtually the entire race, young Andy Hillenberg, 4 laps from the big victory, shreds a right rear. He continues on to finish the race on 3 wheels. On this day, he would finish 14th. The victory goes to the racing redhead from Langhorne, Pennsylvania. Gary Heber picks up his first ever Silver Crown victory. Jimmy Sells finishes 2nd. Wally Pankratz took 3rd. All at the 38th running of the Hoosier 100.
And, of course, we've got midget racing on the brain. That was the Silver Crown cars in the Hoosier 100. A great upset victory for Gary Heber over Sills, Pankratz, Snyder, and Jeff Gordon running 5th in the afternoon and looking to take over the midget point lead here tonight. With Russ Gamester out of this race by virtue of his mechanical problems, we could very well see Gordon come up with the point lead if he can win the race. And we hear just now that Gamester may be trying to line up a ride yet tonight. So it isn't over until it's over, as we say. Now, we had the opportunity today, a privilege indeed, to talk with young Jeff Gordon. He is undoubtedly one of the great stars of the future in this sport, and despite the fact that he's had a rather hectic day, he took a few minutes to sit down with us in the cool of the motorhome and talk about that. Well, it's an annual story, isn't it? The emergence of the bright young star in racing, and on ESPN this year, of course, that star has been Jeff Gordon. And we've wondered all year long what you were going to do next year, where your future lies, and now we're reading that it's in stock car racing. Can you tell us anything about that?
Well, my interests are definitely in stock cars. If it was up to me, I would definitely go stock car racing, but unfortunately it's not. There's a lot of decisions that are going to come down to where I got to make them, and I want the best opportunity that's coming to me, and that doesn't necessarily have to be in stock cars. And you know, I want to make myself look good, you know, not get into inferior equipment, and I just hope that the good car comes in a Winston or Busch Grand National car.
You've had offers. You will try Grand National racing this year.
Yeah, definitely. We have a couple teams that, you know, that are interested in us. It's just something we're going to have to come down. I think I will be running one at Darlington this year, so we're looking at just getting some laps.
Jackie Stewart has called about taking you off to Europe to go road racing. We hear you're on Jack Rouse's short list of drivers for whatever. You could do anything you want to in the world of motorsports. Inside that 19-year-old head, what do you want to do?
Well, I wish I could do everything I want to. You know, unfortunately, I'm luckier than a lot of kids my age, and you know, some drivers that are even older than me. But you know, like I said, I want to go NASCAR racing all the way, and I really think the opportunities for me are going to be better because I'm an oval track racer. You know, I consider myself an oval track racer. I think I could go road course racing, but I think I'll adapt to the stock cars a lot quicker.
I hear the appreciation in your voice. You recognize that you're fortunate to be where you are. How'd you get here? Who made it possible?
Well, my stepdad, really, my mom and my dad. You know, if you need somebody behind you, it's your mom and dad, and they've brought me up ever since I was 5 into racing, and I tell you, if it wasn't for them, I would never be racing right now. I mean, they sold their business, moved to Indiana from California, and you know, I just owe so much to them.
We hear about all the sacrifice that racers make. What have you had to give up?
Well, a lot of baseball, football games, a few parties on the weekends, but it's been worth it. It really has. And the year I'm having this year just shows for it. You know, it's just an outstanding year. The Midgets, Sprint Cars, the Silver Crown Series, and I just hope it keeps going. Let
me ask you one more quick one. Reporters always ask aging celebrities how they want to be remembered, and then it's too late for them to do anything about it. You're 19, you got your whole racing life in front of you. How would you like to be remembered?
Well, hopefully down the road, you know, that I can be a top Winston Cup driver. You know, I want to be up there with Dale Earnhardt, Kenny Schrader, Darrell Waltrip. You know, I would like to be one of them. That's my ultimate goal. And, you know, sure, it's great to be the young kid when he was coming up, but, you know, pretty soon I'm going to get older and they're not going to be able to call me that, so I got to do something.
Look out, Daytona. Here comes Jeff Gordon. And here at Indianapolis Raceway Park, the Gordon crew waiting for tonight. The man with the beard is John Bickford, the father-in-law to whom Jeff referred, who has made it all possible. With him there, Raleigh Helmling, the car owner, and they're looking at the possibility of taking the USAC Midget point lead here this evening. But that is not going to be a walkover. First of all, Jeff has to win the race to do that tonight, and assume that the contender for the championship, Gamester, is out of it. And we'll have more on that Gamester story here just a bit later, because there is word that perhaps Gamester is going to scramble to get back into this. Pretty cars here. It's a cruising night at Indianapolis Raceway Park. We'll be back with more action right after this.
Back at Indianapolis Raceway Park, Marty Reed down in the pits, and the war is not over. Dave Despain, as you mentioned, it looked as though Jeff Gordon might have a walkover, but this is Russ Gamester in Scott Anderson's car that is being driven by Don Jones normally tonight, but the number 6 will now be at the wheel of Russ Gamester as he is not yet ready to give that points lead back.
And so it is Gamester ready to suit up for battle here. He's a game competitor indeed as he gets set to try to hang on to that point lead here tonight in live action at Indianapolis Raceway Park. The feature is coming up, and it'll be a showdown not only among Jeff Gordon and P.J. Jones, but now perhaps Russ Gamester will have the opportunity to get up there and get a piece of that action, and I think that action is going to be spectacular indeed. When we talk about spectacular action, we think of the Belleville Midget Nationals. Jeff Gordon went there on his birthday last Saturday night, and you talk about great racing and great highlights. Here's Kerry Lee.
The excitement of riding the Ferris wheel on the Midway could not compare to the on-track roller coaster exhibitions. The first driver to get more than he bargained for was Dan Bors, who triggered this 5-car melee in Thursday's A-Main.
4 and 5 cars upside down were automatically red.
After riding over the wheel of Keith Bennett, Bors cartwheeled several times, eventually landing outside the ballpark. The blue number 2 of Billy Schumann also did several pirouettes before the dust finally settled. Amazingly, everyone walked away uninjured except Bors, who was hospitalized for observation. 2 days later, during the 4th heat, Denise Bennett and Tommy White were battling for 3rd when the two came in contact, sending Bennett into a vicious series of barrel rolls down the backstretch. And then, in the dash for cash, Bob Haar spun in turn 1 and was hit head-on by Ken Hatra, who wound up in nearly the same spot as Bors. Although some of the drivers were shaken, no one was injured. Saturday evening's main event proved to be another showcase for Jeff Gordon, who led the entire distance and lapped all but second-place finisher Steve Knepper. It was the best birthday present Gordon could give himself, while also accomplishing his biggest goal for his friend and car owner, Raleigh Helmling.
We've been so successful in all divisions, and I think I just owe it all to the teams that I've been with. I've been with first-class equipment, and you know, if you don't go first class, you're not going to win. And we've been winning a lot this year, and I just hope it keeps up.
Well, that's a familiar sight indeed, that victory celebration. Here are the cars for tonight's live feature on ESPN being pushed off at IRP. And Larry Rice, I got to ask you a question. You don't go to Belleville to the Midget Nationals and lap the field. What was the story on Jeff Gordon?
Well, there's an old saying that you never want to go racing equal in this business, and it looks like now that Jeff Gordon is not going racing equal, whether it be the car, the engine, the driver, or a combination of all of them. He's definitely got the advantage.
What's the reaction of the rest of the field down here to that kind of a performance?
Well, there's all kinds of rumors, you know. What's he got in the engine? What's the crankshaft made of? What kind of rods he got in it? There's all sorts of rumors of what's going on, what he's using. They don't want to believe that it's all Jeff Gordon, and maybe it's not all Jeff Gordon. But
a little titanium, maybe?
That's right. That's right.
I'll let you guys speculate while you get ready for the feature here, because the main event is coming up, and it's going to be a dogfight at Indianapolis Raceway Park. These guys will call it for you when we come back live on Saturday Night Thunder. We're live at Indianapolis Raceway Park. USAC Midget feature action. You're riding with the Cage Cam, the CarQuest Cage Cam, which gives us a look both directions, the front view and now the view out the back. And that, of course, is the view that Jeff Gordon hopes to have of this field here tonight. As they rumble around the pace car, we're just about ready to get set for exciting action, and we're glad you're here to be part of it as we wrap up our live USAC Midget coverage for 1990 here on ESPN. To call this final main event on live television, here's Gary Lee.
And look at the driver. He looks familiar. That is Bob Ciccone driving the pace car. I don't know if I trust Bob Ciccone with the pace car.
Well, I'll tell you what, he doesn't do too bad. He doesn't trust me very much at this point. I ran into him today in that big crash on the first lap. So, but he's a good guy.
He may not pull it off, though. He may leave it out there.
That's right. That's right. He looked for a race car to drive tonight. He wanted very badly to run here, but he just couldn't come up with anything. So he thought the pace car was next best.
What exactly happened today in that first lap? You had a great drive in the qualifier, won that one, and then got wiped out in the 4th turn of the first lap.
Well, it was just a chain reaction. Jack Hewitt ran over a car, and then somebody ran into the back of Chuck Gurney, and everybody just, the farther back you went, the more the chain reaction got to running into people. And I got I ran into Saccone. Somebody hit me in the back, and it spun both of us out. And it was just one of those things that happens. You always hate for it to, but it always does.
I told you you're in a bind for time to get out here for television, but not that much.
I know. I would never do that. I would come here with my racing uniform on if I had to run that race, but that just wasn't to be today.
One driver watching this evening, and hopefully we'll be back in a race car very soon. Gary Bettenhausen, a 30-lap record set here in 1977, and there's the time for that. Gary was at the racetrack today. Had a chance to talk with Gary on the public address system, and he said he probably could be back racing late this year, but he'll gain his strength back slowly and be back in the cockpit of a Silver Crown Champ dirt car and Indy car next year. Speaking of Jack Hewitt, who was involved in that frightening accident over there in the second corner when the brake rotor came up and speared the fuel cell, the car was on fire. He momentarily was on fire, had some very superficial burns. He is racing in an outlaw sprint car race at Paragon, just south of Indianapolis this evening. All right, we have 24 cars ready for 30 laps of action. In the front row, Richard Myrie alongside Jim Keeker. In row 2, Stan Fox and Don Schilling. In the third row, the fastest 6 are inverted. So Mike Fedorchak, your fast qualifier, new track record. Jeff Gordon starting outside row 3. In the fourth row, it's Mike Stryker and P.J. Jones with the camera. In the fifth row, Tice Carlson and Mike Mason. Row 6, inside Eric Gordon, outside Brett Poole. In the seventh row, Bev Griffiths, 7-time USAC champion Mel Kenyon. Row 8, Steve Inlow and Billy Hughes. In the ninth row, Jim Beckley out of Denver, Colorado, and Roy Carruthers. Row 10, Ted Hines and Dick Pohl. In the 11th row, Doug Coletta and Jim Hettinger. And row 12, it's Terry Winnie and Russ Gamester. We are ready for our last live event from Indianapolis Raceway Park for the 1990 racing season. They pick up the throttle coming off the corner. Richard Myrie in the Munchkin brings them down. The green flag is out. And a 3 abreast start into turn 1.
Yes, Myrie got a bad start. Stan Fox got a good start. He started down low. He went under those guys, but he couldn't quite pull it off.
And now they start to string out down the backstretch, and look at Schilling on the inside. He makes a move on the inside of Jim Keeker as we go back in the pack with P.J. Jones. P.J. right behind Mike Stryker off the corner down the front straightaway. He looks to the inside, has another look to the inside as we go back to the front of the pack. And look at Gordon up to second.
Jeff Gordon already in second place. That is simply amazing. This guy is phenomenal. How can you come from 6th place up there that quickly? Schilling got a real good start, but Jeff Gordon going in that first corner was still in 6th. He didn't get the big jump. He's past those guys. Uh-oh, look out.
And there is the other Munchkin, Fedorchak, and we saw some sparks coming off of Mel Kenyon's number 61 as we look at Mike Fedorchak in the Munchkin with the Volkswagen power plant. And there are the sparks coming out from Kenyon's number 61, a 7-time USAC Midget champion, and he has some flame back there in the left rear corner.
I didn't see exactly what happened. I looked down and saw Fedorchak running sideways down the straightaway, and I knew there was a problem, but I didn't see what caused him to get sideways.
Gary Bettenhausen, watching his Monrovia home this evening, realizes now his track record is still intact because we go to yellow. So there's a look at Mel Kenyon. He is trying to nurse that car back to the pit area where his brother Don will have a look to see just how serious that damage is. USAC official down to talk to Fedorchak in 97, so perhaps he can continue on.
Yeah, it looks like all he did was get sideways. I think Kenyon's the one with the problem. He's dragging some suspension parts, and I don't know exactly what happened, but he's dragging the suspension on that car. Here's Fedorchak as we see him up here. He's the one that got sideways sliding down the main straightaway, probably trying to miss something in front of him, I would guess.
Well, Mel Kenyon, once again a 7-time USAC Midget champion out of Lebanon, Indiana. He and his brother run 3K racing. And let's take a look again and see if we can determine exactly what happened.
Something's sparks back here in the middle of the corner.
Kenyon's into the fence right here coming off the corner. Now we're looking for Fedorchak in the Munchkin.
Oh yeah, he just got up real high and hit the fence. He's just trying to hold it straight. Evidently the Munchkin, this is what I'm talking about, chain reactions. The guys in the back all started putting on the brakes. They all started slowing down, going different directions, and somewhere back in that mess, Fedorchak just had to go sideways to miss somebody. I'm sure that's all
I think maybe Fedorchak got sideways and caused Mel to get to the fence, perhaps, as they were all getting on the brakes. So we'll try to sort things out. Mel's okay, and Mike Fedorchak is okay, but we are still under yellow. A lot of laps left to race. Come back and join us. we are still under yellow here at Indianapolis Raceway Park. Only one lap of 30 now in the record book. Don Schilling leads it. Jim Keeker is second. Then Jeff Gordon third. Stan Fox and Richard Myrie round out the top 5. We are under yellow because of an altercation coming off the 4th corner involving a couple of cars, but I don't think there's any connection, Larry Rice, between the two, with Mike Fedorchak first spinning and the Munchkin, or sliding we should say, and also Mel Kenyon making contact with the wall. There's the Munchkin sliding.
Yeah, he spun way up here. Kenyon is way in the back, hitting the fence over on the left side of your screen. I don't think there was any connection whatsoever in those two events. Looked like the Munchkin just came up real fast on those guys. He had to put on the brakes, or he might have even hit them and pulled back, or I mean spun out. And then Kenyon's way in the back, and I don't know what happened to him. He got real high and banged the fence real hard.
Well, there's a look at Jim Hettinger, who started from the back of the pack, and I think he's up to about 13th position now. So we saw him come from the back of the pack in the semi. He's a guy to watch right here. A couple of yellows, and he could be right up there in the first 3 or 4. Let's go to the pit area and Marty Reed.
Well, guys, you're looking at the damage right now on Mel Kenyon's car, and as we come up here, we've got the man, and he can explain best what happened out there.
I wish I could. Somebody decided to bash me into the wall. It's 2 nights in a row. It's getting a little tiring.
In other words, you had no idea what was going on out there.
No, as somebody came up and hit me on the inside and bashed me into the outer wall. I thought I was kind of lucky to get away from that. And then I thought I might as well drive it around back to the pits, but I got chewed out for doing that too. So it's not a good night.
Well, it's such a disappointment after such a fine performance in your heat race.
You're right. I was looking forward to making some money, but it didn't work out again.
Mel Kenyon out of tonight's main event.
So, Larry, what he's saying, even a 7-time USAC champion could get, as he said, chewed out?
Well, I'll tell you what, that's a pretty calm way to put things when something like that just happens to you. You bang the fence, you drive around the thing's on fire and smoking, and people are yelling at you, and he's saying there, well, it just wasn't my night.
I got chewed out. Yeah. Well, we ride along looking out the back of car 21 now. That is P.J. Jones out of Torrance, California. And there's a look at your leader. There's a 21, but that's Don Schilling who leads it. Now, Jim Keeker is in second position. He had been passed, but we revert back to the last completed lap, so he is second. Your track record holder running in third position, that is young Jeff Gordon, who celebrated his 19th birthday just a week ago by winning himself the Belleville Nationals. He had a couple of goals this season. One was to win the Belleville Nationals. One was to win the USAC Midget title. He's done one already. In the 4th spot, that is the Wisconsin driver Stan Fox. Fox did double duty this afternoon, made a little contact with the outside wall, though, in the big dirt car, but he was uninjured and only minor damage to the car, but his race ended early at the Indiana State Fairgrounds. And there is another Munchkin. That is Richard Myrie in car number 9. Now, I'm not sure why the paint job is like that. They just had some spare parts, I suppose, and put them together, but that's another Munchkin, and that is number 9. Safety crew still on the racetrack. There may have been some oil down on the apron as Mel Kenyon was running back to the pit area.
Yeah, I think that's what happened. As he went around there with all those pieces broken off, it probably punctured his oil tank, and when he came around, he got oil all over the racetrack. And they just want to make sure that it's all cleaned up.
There's Mike Stryker right there. Mike started the season with a win in the big Hoosier Dome Invitational in January. And that got his season off to a pretty good start, and he'll likely get another invitation for that race, which will be on the, I understand, the 19th of January. And as we pan back, we take a look at our camera car, the cage cam from CarQuest, and that is P.J. Jones, car 21, and he loves the midget racing. As we take a look over the helmet right now, off the corner, down the front straightaway, you can see the pit entrance off to the left. They're still working on the track, so apparently there was some oil, and there's the oil dry on the track right there. So we're still under yellow. We still have 29 laps to go. You will see them live when we return to Indianapolis Raceway Park.
This edition of Saturday Night Thunder has been brought to you by Olympic, the family of stain products that protect your home from damage rain can do. Olympic stops the rain. By AutoZone, the best parts in auto parts. And by Quaker State, the big Q is one tough motor oil. Our CarQuest cage cam tonight made possible by the good people at CarQuest. For your nearest CarQuest Auto Parts store, call 1-800-492-HEART. You'll find it at CarQuest. We're approaching the green flag for the main event. Let's go back to Gary Lee.
They have been given the pearl flag, indicating one more lap before we go green. This, as we indicated, is our last live telecast from Indianapolis Raceway Park for this series this season. Our entire ESPN crew would love to thank the USAC officials, President Dick King, Director of Competition Roger McCluskey, his associate Gary Sokola, and all the folks at USAC for their help. And, of course, the great hospitality by Bob and Eileen Daniels here at Indianapolis Raceway Park, along with John Potts, the entire staff, Roger and Linda Halderman from the Winchester Speedway, and the Gettelfinger family from the Salem Speedway. As we are racing here at Indianapolis Raceway Park, this only begins lap number 2. The yellows do not count, so we have 29 laps yet to go, and there is Gordon looking to the inside.
Yes, he's looking real hard right at this point. He's going to come off this corner real up. He's going to go right on past him going into 3, I think. I'll tell you what, Kinker's putting up a pretty good battle. He didn't just pull over and play dead there. He came right on back, but Jeff just had too much for him.
Well, Jeff is up to second, but look at that gap that Schilling has after only 1 lap. There's a look at Stan Fox. Fox rides in the 4th position right now.
Schilling's no slouch on this racetrack. He showed us before that he knows exactly what he's doing here, so he could give Jeff all he wants here tonight. It's going to be very interesting to see how quickly he catches him, if he catches him, and how he goes about trying to pass him if he does. Well, now there's a battle for 3rd position as Stan Fox looks to the inside as a gap develops now as Gordon begins to pull away. Now, keep in mind, as we watch that battle for 3rd, Gordon has won every time he finishes in this car. The only time he didn't win the race, we saw him at Winchester. He set a world record for a half-mile, was pulling away, and the engine had some problems. Went to Salem the next day, set all kinds of records, and won. Yeah, Stan Fox is running very good. He ran 2nd here last week. Again, he's running very, very good tonight. He's just passed Jimmy Kinker for 3rd place. He's on the hunt now. He's going to go after those 2 guys up front.
Well, Schilling is out in front, but closing in second is the 19-year-old Jeff Gordon. Jeff drives the Diet Pepsi Beast of Raleigh Helmling, and now a Beast runs in 3rd position. So I'm not sure what Bob East has as far as these race cars, but there's something about the Beast chassis. They're winning all the major midget races this season.
Yeah, he builds a very good race car, a very safe race car, which is most important. And they are running very fast. That's you can put all those things together, and you're going to sell a lot of race cars. When you sell a lot of race cars, you're going to win a lot of races.
Jim Hettinger continues his efforts from the back of the pack, and he is having a good ride. Now, a couple of yellows would certainly play to his benefit right now.
Yes, he needs a yellow. There's a big gap between him and the guys in front of him. He needs a yellow to catch him and make his job a lot easier if he can get up in there. But the big thing right now, I think, is to see if PJ can come up through this pack. He's kind of stuck back in there. He's trying to make a move. He's right behind Mike Stryker. He's working on him, but he just hasn't quite figured out the best place to get the job done here. I think this racetrack's pretty new to him. Maybe in a couple laps he gets figured out. He's got to follow him, stalk him, and then figure out exactly where he wants to go. Here he's going to try him into 3.
Well, he looks to the inside, but once again cannot keep the momentum up down there. The track kind of flattens out down there. He can't get too far down.
Yeah, he looks just like he did in that ARS car, sliding and spinning the tires. But, you know, you can do that a little easier with this car than you can the ARS car, but you can't do it very long or you're going to blister that right rear tire. And once that happens, you're done for in this race.
Down the backstretch into turn 3 now. He stays up high this time, keeps the momentum up. Now let's see if he tucks down. Well, he really can't tuck down because Stryker was low coming off the corner. We go back to the front of the pack. Don Schilling continues to set the pace, and now we look to the inside again. We're back with...
Yeah, he's trying very hard. He's looking every place on the racetrack. He just doesn't quite seem to be able to get it done right there.
Well, he did get by Stryker because there's Stryker behind him as we look back through the pack.
Yeah, I'm kind of...
There's Russ Gamester in the white number 6 car. Now remember, he is struggling. This is an unfamiliar car. It's a fairly new car. This Beast chassis has only been on the track a couple of times, and obviously it's a real problem for a driver to hop in somebody else's race car without practice and be competitive.
Well, always last week he hopped in a new car, but he had 2 races to get it worked out. Finally, here Schilling is just lapping. Schilling's just coming around him. He's just lapping. He's lapping all 3 of these guys on the same straightaway. Man, oh man.
Well, that was Terry Winnie in the green number 33. Terry is the son of Bob Winnie, who was the 1963 USAC Midget champion, but Schilling made it look so easy, and I'll tell you what, this victory string may be snapped here this evening.
Jeff Gordon's really got his hands full, I'm going to tell you. Schilling went past those guys so quick and so smooth, it didn't look like there was any effort there at all. You can see the gap. Jeff Gordon doesn't even have him in sight in this picture. Here he is right over here. So Jeff Gordon might have his hands full with Schilling tonight. Once he got out in front, had a free track. He's just taken off and set sail.
Working on lap 14, we're approaching the halfway point of this 30-lap event. Now, has Jeff been taking it easy on the tire? Has he just a different compound? As we look back out the back of PJ, whoa, he almost gets tapped by Keeker, and Keeker almost gets together with Hettinger.
I tell you what, you don't think this midget racing is close quarters racing. You just didn't take a very close look at that.
This is not supposed to be a contact sport.
This is a non-contact sport like the NBA is a non-contact sport, I'm going to tell you. But on this racetrack, it's pretty dangerous, so they got to be careful. Hettinger's really working hard. He's really running that race car hard right now, and he's working every race.
I like this shot. I like this shot. Off the back of P.J. Jones' car, and look at that battle back there. Fedorchak is also trying to come through the pack, and the Munchkin, that's the 97 car.
Yes, these are both Volkswagens.
Look at the Munchkins right together on the racetrack. That's Myrie and the pink-nosed Munchkin. They almost got together. Perhaps they did touch, as Fedorchak went all the way down the low side of the racetrack. Remember, Fedorchak had to go to the back of the pack after he slid down the front straightaway after the completion of the first lap.
Yes, he's working real hard right now just to catch back up. He's doing a very good job, but it's a long ways to the front from back where he started.
Former track record holder is Mike Fedorchak. He knows the fast way around here.
Hettinger's doing a very good job too. Look at the way he's working on Keeker. He's trying him high, he's trying him low, he's trying him everywhere. I think the horsepower is really what's hurting him. We got a yellow flag now. It might give him a chance to cool his tire down, get a little better shot at him.
Well, as we look around the racetrack for the reason for the yellow, and Larry Rice, I don't see a problem right now.
Well, I don't either, Gary. I don't see a thing that there was anything happen on the racetrack. Here we see Fedorchak. He comes up high. He tries to get a slingshot down underneath him. This is Fedorchak on the inside. He slides up just a little bit. Yep, he touches Myrie right there just a little bit. His right front hit his left rear. He did a very good job keeping that thing from spinning because it wanted to head for the fence. He kept it very straight, got clear down to the inside of the racetrack, kept it straight, and then gradually tried to get back up in the groove. But they did touch wheels, and that shows you how much it wants to make a race car move on this racetrack.
Now, Fedorchak has had a workout this evening.
Well, those little Munchkins, although they handle very well, they're very fast. Sometimes they're a little jittery on this racetrack. It hasn't been this car only weighs 900 pounds. It's the lightest race car out here, I believe. They weighed it last week. Jeff Gordon's car weighed 960. So Jeff Gordon's car is not a very heavy car. All these cars are very close. The Munchkin, I believe, is the lightest, though, at about 900 pounds. They have to weigh 875. He's not giving away anything in weight, and Jeff Gordon didn't either.
Okay, Don Schilling leads it. We have a yellow. They bunch up behind Don. This gives Jeff Gordon new life, if you will. But we don't know what compounds they're using. We don't know how much Schilling perhaps abused the tire to get that big lead. A lot of question marks that can't be answered until they drop the checkered flag.
Well, that's right. I think most of these guys that are up front right now are probably running the hard compound, the 8 compound. Last week, Fedorchak tried running the 7. He blistered a tire. Hughes tried running a 7. He blistered a tire. So I think most of these guys realize that. They do their homework. They know what everybody else has done. So they're probably all going to have the harder compound tire on, but they still can't abuse that harder compound or it's going to go away on them. The real trick here is going to see, we know that Jeff Gordon is a very aggressive, very smart, very smooth cookie on a restart. We saw him last week get by Fedorchak on a restart, so it's going to be a very interesting restart to see if he can do the same thing to Don Schilling.
We're showing Jim Hettinger in 6th position. What a marvelous drive from the back of the pack. That is not an easy task in any type of race car.
Yeah, it doesn't matter whether it's a Volkswagen, a Pontiac, or a Rolls-Royce, does it? From 24th to 6th is a heck of a job here tonight.
Well, he needed this yellow. He needed the yellow to bunch the pack up so he can have a better shot at the front of the pack. And right now he's up toward the front of the pack. As we go racing, we have 16 laps completed, 14 laps to go, and Gordon looks to the inside. And now let's see what type of strategy will unfold here, Larry Rice. What would you do if you were driving the white number 4?
Well, I would do the same thing he's going to do. I'm trying my best to keep up with that guy because this Schilling is running one heck of a race today. Tonight. He's doing very good. He's keeping that thing straight. He's running fast. We said he built this car for this racetrack, for this series, and it's showing up here tonight.
Well, we have seen Schilling set track records. We have seen Don Schilling win. That came last year. He knows his way around. A problem in the front straightaway. A problem down the front straightaway. A car into the wall. Dick Pole in car 25. We could see the sparks as he lost his left rear. He is okay, and he checks out the damage to the race car. Obviously, right now, more concerned about the damage to the car than any damage to himself. He is all right, but we can see the extensive damage as he ripped off that left rear. We have another yellow. That means we cool the tires down some more.
That's right. And Jeff Gordon, if you noticed on that last restart, he tried the patented high-low slingshot type restart, and he just couldn't quite pull it off. Schilling has got a lot of horsepower in that race car, unlike Fedorchak's last week, where the Volkswagen didn't quite have as much horsepower as Jeff did. When Schilling hit the gas, he took off.
Well, Dick Pole is the reason for the yellow, and you can see all the sparks coming off. You can see the wheel rolling down to the inside. It's in the infield right now. He is totally out of control. Nothing but a passenger trying to hang on.
That's right. That wheel came off. That's what started the whole thing. Evidently, the wing nut was loose, or he broke a hub. Something. The wheel came off, and he had no control. He was along for the ride, and anything he did was just trying to protect himself and the race car from getting hurt any worse than he had to.
But realistically, it was a very light contact with the wall. All the damage was really done when the car was sliding down the racetrack after the wheel came loose.
Yeah, it was a lot more spectacular, I think, than it was damaging as far as everything goes, because all the sparks and the smoke and everything flying in there, it looked pretty bad. But he just slid around up into the fence. But I'll tell you what, if you're sitting in that cockpit and just doing all those things and sliding around and throwing sparks, it's got your attention real fast.
Now, I know whenever something like that happens to you and you're strapped in the cockpit, you keep your eyes open so you can see what's happening, don't you, Larry?
Not me. I close my eyes. I don't want to see that fence when I hit it.
You just look at the videotape later, right?
That's right.
Well, the car being brought back on the hook, and as we said, Dick is okay. We have completed now 17 laps. We still have 13 laps to go, and we have green flag racing one more lap. We have baseball tonight coming up next. Dave Marish is standing back. If you have just now joined us, our feature from Indianapolis Raceway Park running just a little long this evening. We still have 13 laps to go. Let's go to the pit area and Marty Reed.
Well, we're down with Dick Pole, and first off, you are okay.
Yes, I'm fine.
What happened? It looked like something just sheared off.
I think the axle end broke off of it, and it lost the wing nut and wheel at the same time.
Disappointing end to a long night.
I thought I felt it vibrated like 3 laps before, but I wasn't sure, and I should have probably paid attention to it.
Well, we're back to green racing.
Well, once again, as we come off the corner, Gordon goes high. Will he take a look to the low side? No, he stays high right now.
I'm really surprised. He doesn't seem to have quite the same advantage that he had last week. He just doesn't seem to be able to get that momentum coming off of 4 to get by anybody on that restart. But here he got the momentum.
Look at this. He has it there. Whoa, hang on. He slides up. They almost touch.
I think maybe he did just touch the rear bumper just a little bit. I'll tell you what, he's a trier. If he's nothing else, he's one heck of a trier. He never gives up.
Stan Fox runs in the 3rd position. We mentioned a couple of weeks ago that the Stan Fox car is nicknamed Janice, the wife of Bob East, and the car had, until 2 weeks ago, had never lost a pavement race when Janice was here, but they lost it 2 weeks ago.
That's right. Here we go. We're back to the Munchkin. This is the Munchkin. This is P.J. Jones. And this is Jim Hettinger. This is a very good battle. These 3 guys are driving their hearts out, trying to catch up with those guys up in front of them, and doing a real good job doing it.
I think the battle for 4th, 5th, and 6th there. There they are, 4th, 5th, and 6th. P.J. and the Munchkin. And there's a look at Hettinger on the high side now. The Munchkin down low with Fedorchak.
Boy,
look how close he is to the fence.
This is a great shot. Look how close he was. Look how close they were to each other. And now he's diving down inside of P.J. Jones. There's no room. I tell you, these cars move around so much. It's very, very difficult to run as close as those guys are to each other and not touch each other.
These guys have to have confidence in each other. They know who is right next to them, and they have to have confidence as the Munchkin goes by.
Absolutely. PJ has not run this racetrack very much. He's run some pavement, but this racetrack is not like any other racetrack he's been on in a while. He's doing one heck of a job.
Well, here comes Hettinger.
Yeah, tries him high, tries him low. He's going to go everywhere trying to get around him. He just can't quite get it done.
Hettinger in 6th position after starting at the back of the pack, and he is all over the rear bumper of P.J. Jones.
Notice how he really gains on him in the corners. Going down the straightaway, you're going to see here, he's going to get away from him. See, coming into the corner, though, look how Hettinger, that light Volkswagen, man, getting into the corner, he really gains on him. He works on him all the way through the corner. Here he's going to try him, but going down the straightaway, look, stretches out 2 car lengths. Boy, that's tough to make up.
23 laps now complete. There's the gap between 1st and 2nd. Don Schilling continues to lead. Now is Gordon saving something, or does he have anything to save?
Gordon is not saving a thing, believe me. He's trying his heart out to catch him right now. I think Don Schilling just has he's finally got his act together, and he's doing such a great job that Jeff Gordon has nothing else he can try. That race car, you know, this is no time to be waiting or saving or doing any of that sort of thing. You've got to just go for it. And that's
Mike Fedorchak is up to third in the Munchkin. That is a crowd favorite.
And he came from last. Don't forget that. He stopped once. He spun out. He went third to last. Ooh, boy, there was a close one. Hedger finally got around P.J. Jones, but I'll tell you what, it took a little nerve to do it.
You know, when you see how close these guys on the racetrack, sometimes it's easier to be in the race car than here watching it.
I think you're probably right. You know, you have so much confidence in yourself and in your fellow competitors that you don't think that close racing is real dangerous. Obviously, when you see it on TV, you know how close it was, but when you're in there, it just doesn't seem quite so bad.
Less than 5 laps to go. Now only 4 laps to go. 26 laps now complete. And unless something happens to the engine or the car number 12, it looks like Schilling will take the victory. Oh, a yellow! A yellow!
That was Myrie. He got all out of shape.
Mike Mason made contact with the wall after he got into Myrie. The yellow flag flies. That will bunch them up, and that would give Gordon one more shot at Schilling.
One last shot, and believe me, he'll give it everything he's got. It just looks like on the restarts, he's got so much determination. He gives it everything he's got, but Schilling just seems to be right in front of him, on top of everything. Doesn't give him a chance.
Well, it's going to be a very, very exciting finish. Baseball tonight is coming up as soon as this race is over, but we are under yellow here at Indianapolis Raceway Park. We still have about a 4-lap shootout. It should be interesting. Stay with us. We're coming back live. The yellow continues to fly here at Indianapolis Raceway Park. We are live. For those of you that have just joined us, expecting to see baseball tonight, it will be coming your way momentarily. The race is going long. We are under yellow, and this is why.
Myrie got sideways. He got all sideways, started wiggling around. Mike Mason just came up. Wasn't expecting him to slide up quite that far. Ran over his left rear, and I'll tell you what, he's real lucky he didn't get upside down right there. You run over a left rear with your right rear with your left front and keep that thing on all fours. You've done a heck of a job. He just backs her in the fence. He probably bent the rear axle on some of the other parts. He hit it pretty hard, so I imagine he's going to have some things to fix, but it just wasn't his fault.
All right, let's go down to the pit area and Marty Reed.
Well, we've got the man responsible for building Jeff Gordon's car, Raleigh Helmling, and the owner. And Raleigh, you're worried about fuel out here.
Right. We've had so many yellows. We started the race light. We're really concerned about our fuel load, and I know several other people are too. But Don Schilling's driving a great race. He would be very deserving to win, but I know Jeff's going to give it everything he's got to try to catch him.
Can you beat Schilling if things stay equal?
I sure hope so, but Don's an awfully good racer with an awfully good car. It's going to be a great finish.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. Jeff Gordon could give Raleigh and his wife Carol their best anniversary present. It's their 17th today. Congratulations.
Thank you.
We will see in about 5 laps that green flag flies, but right now the pressure is being applied by Mike Fedorchak in the Munchkin. He came from the back of the pack. Now, if Jeff is low on fuel, that car may be lighter, but look at the gap that Schilling has down the backstretch.
Yes, I'll tell you what, Don Schilling just has his act together tonight. He's going to be real tough to beat. I think actually Fedorchak might have a better chance of beating him than Jeff Gordon does. He's come a long way. If he can get past Jeff Gordon, he may have the best shot at Don Schilling of anybody on the racetrack.
4 laps to go. Schilling slides just a bit on this 13-degree banking here at Indianapolis Raceway Park. Down the backstretch, the track is 0.68 miles in length. The 30-lap feature, the laps wind down.
Notice again how the Munchkin gains on Jeff Gordon through the corners. Down the straightaway, Jeff Gordon opens up a big lead because of the horsepower in that Pontiac engine. But through the corners, that Munchkin really works well.
28th lap being worked right now into turn 3, and it looks like Schilling has him covered this evening.
I think he's got him covered 100%. He really has that thing working good, it's running good, and he's driving the heck out of it. There's no question about that either.
Well, you got to tip the hat to Mike Fedorchak in the Munchkin. He's underpowered as far as the Volkswagen is concerned. And look at Jeff really got sideways coming off the corner. He is driving that for all it's worth this evening, but not quite enough left in that Pontiac.
He's going to give it everything he's got. He's driving her sideways and up to the fence, down to the inside. He's doing everything he can, but he just cannot handle it tonight. Schilling is running so well. Fedorchak, he's fallen back a little bit. He caught up with him. He's driven a great race, too. Everybody, these first 5 or 6 cars, all these guys have done one heck of a job It's just that they're all fast. There's 5, 6 fast race cars out there. They all drove a great race, but somebody has to win. Tonight, it was Don Schilling.
Don Schilling, so that breaks the scheme of things as far as that Beast chassis. Winning every race it finishes, and the second place goes to Gordon. So, Dave Despain, what do you think about midget racing here at Indianapolis Raceway Park?
I tell you what, I had a ball. I'm glad you guys invited me up here for this. Here are the results. Don Schilling wins what was supposed to be a Jeff Gordon party. Fedorchak with a great drive from the back. Fox and Hettinger round out the top 5. Ran a little long. We're going to get you right to the Baseball Tonight activity. Thank you so much for the opportunity to be here, Gary. We really enjoyed your show. That's going to wrap up this 1990 Saturday Night Thunder Series. Thank you all so much for being here to enjoy the action. I'm Dave Despain. So long from Indianapolis.